but your Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears have pulled off the largest comeback in Iowa State playoff history to become the 8-man champions. Welcome back to BG Game Preview. I'm your host, Lucy Eisenbarth, and your Garrigan Golden Bears are 8-man champions once again, pulling off the largest comeback in playoff history, going down 36-14. We're going to cover what all unraveled in this game, and we are going to maybe look to basketball season for your Garrigan Golden Bear girls. Boys season doesn't start till about a week after, because they give the football players time after playoffs in the dome and everything to rest up before basketball season. I will still be covering boys basketball, don't you worry. Side note before we get into it, the reason I sound like this is because I lost my voice at the game and also at the Iowa State game yesterday. My voice has taken a toll in the past couple of days, so I apologize that I do sound a little bit weird. Another side note before we get into today's video, my 3 and 30 video with Ethan Marceau got over 1,000 views on YouTube and another 200, almost 300 views on Instagram. I really just wanted to thank you guys for all the support that you've shown me through football season on 3 and 30, on the videos, with predictions, and with everything that just goes into making this channel and running this channel. You guys have shown me a lot of support, and I thank you guys for that. As football season comes to a close, I will be doing an outtakes video, but the question is, do you want an outtakes video for the end of the entire year, or just for the end of each season or sport? I put a poll on my Instagram this morning. It's Sunday, by the way. And I may keep that Instagram poll running longer if need be. Without further ado, make sure to like, subscribe, and go follow my Instagram for more polls like that and to catch 3 and 30 content. Without further ado, let's get right into this recap rewind of Garrigan State Championship game. Starting off this video, we're going to recap Garrigan's comeback victory versus the Woodbine Tigers to give them the 8-man state championship title. Garrigan went down in this game after the first quarter, going down 14-6, and then going down 20-14 at halftime. Garrigan would go scoreless in the third quarter, and Woodbine would score 16, putting them down 36-14 going into the fourth quarter. This is the largest that Garrigan has been down all year and in the past couple of years. I haven't seen Garrigan go down like this in a very, very long time, and this was a very different game for Garrigan in that aspect. They faced a lot of adversity, and they were able to overcome it very well, because at the start of the fourth quarter, with being down 36-14, Garrigan would go on to score 30 points in the fourth quarter to go up 42-44 and win the game. There was a statistic on how each score impacted the game in the fourth quarter. If I find the graphic, I'll put it here. It was from Bound Iowa, I believe, on Instagram. Really, overall, just an insane stat line that a team can score 30 points in the fourth quarter. Garrigan almost seemed, even though our guys were tired, seemed to make an adjustment and seemed to really just put the game away, really just come back. The seniors wanted this game very, very badly. Without further ado, let's look at the stat line side of things. For Bishop Garrigan, senior quarterback Tate Furch completed 9 of his 13 passes for 131 yards and 0 touchdowns, while rushing for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was the leading rusher for Garrigan. Ethan Marceau also had a good game, but I cannot see his individual stats as he was not one of the game leaders. Leader in receiving yards was sophomore CJ McGregor, a new person that we've seen on the game leaders. He had 1 reception for 36 yards, and he also rushed for 63 yards and 1 touchdown. He was the first one to score for Garrigan to open the game, and he also, that 1 catch that he did have for 36 yards was the most impactful play of the game, in my opinion, as it was a deep bomb in triple coverage, and CJ ended up coming down with it. That put Garrigan in position to score and really helped start the chain of scores and really helped give Garrigan a lot of momentum. Leader in tackles was junior Michael Joyce with 5.5 tackles, leading the defense. For the Woodbine Tigers, senior Broden Pryor completed 13 of his 21 passes for 214 yards and 3 touchdowns. Leader in rushing was junior Micah Morris with 21 attempts for 106 yards and 3 touchdowns. Leader in receiving was junior Landon Bloom with 8 receptions for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. And leader in tackles and leading the Woodbine defense was senior Joe Freund with 14 tackles, and 1 TFL. For Garrigan had 72 rushing attempts for 331 yards, averaging 4.6 yards per carry, and 6 rushing touchdowns on the day. Comparing that to Woodbine's, they had 24 rushing attempts for 127 yards, averaging 5.3 yards per carry, and 3 touchdowns. Looking over to the defensive side of things, Garrigan's defense put up 30.5 total tackles, 1 TFL, and 0 sacks, while Woodbine's put up 77 total tackles, 2 TFLs, and 0 sacks as well. The offensive lines in this game were very, very good. They prevented quarterbacks from getting sacked a lot, opened up big holes for big runs, and that was a very, very key factor for both these teams in these games is their offensive lines. The one thing that Garrigan did come up with on the defensive side of the ball that Woodbine did not was an interception. That one interception came in the fourth quarter from none other than Ethan Marceau, someone we haven't seen get an interception, I don't believe, this season. He was able to tip the ball at the goal line and get the interception, which was a huge play for Garrigan. It put them in position to score again, which led to, obviously, 30 points in the fourth quarter. Overall, just a great, great game from Garrigan. That first half was really, really rough for them. Those first 3 quarters were really, really rough for them. But they were able to go out there and they were able to make the changes that they needed to make, and they were able to come home with the state championship. For Woodbine, their wide receiver game and their passing game was very good. Star wide receiver Landon Bloom was just very, very hard to guard. He's got very clean footwork, and he was a very key factor for them in this game, as well as Broden Pryor. Woodbine is a very, very well-rounded team in the fact that they can run the ball, they can throw the ball, but they choose to throw the ball more, obviously, as that's just how their offense runs. That's their offensive scheme. Garrigan kind of flipped the game on their heads when they made those adjustments in the fourth quarter. They started throwing the ball more. They started just running plays faster and harder. The offensive line started blocking harder, and it really, really just changed everything. It changed the entire course of the game for Garrigan. An amazing, amazing performance from Garrigan, getting the second title in 3 years with a really, really good senior group. You're losing a lot of guys next year, but celebrate the fact that you won it and you broke records along the way. As I talked about in the intro, Garrigan broke the record for the largest comeback in playoff history with being down 36-14. They broke another record as well for most rushing attempts in a state playoff game. I believe the old record was 64-72, somewhere in that range, and I believe Garrigan had 78 rushing attempts in this game. As you see from Ethan Marceau ran the ball up a lot, as well as Tate Furch. He ran the ball a lot, and he was the leading rusher for Garrigan, like I had mentioned earlier. They really wanted this win very badly, and they came out with it. Garrigan completed the clean sweep on the year, going 13-0 with a championship ring. Overall, an amazing season for Garrigan. These seniors finish 34-2 in their careers. I know IA football talked about that a little bit at the beginning of the Audubon game. They had a video of Tate Furch warming up. It had 34-2 as a starter as the caption. Football was super, super fun to cover this year from my standpoint of things, and I'm very, very excited that I am able to talk about and I am able to cover this championship win. Without further ado, we do have to move on to basketball season, which we will do right now, taking a look at the Garrigan girls preview versus St. Ned's for the home opener. Looking over to your Garrigan girls basketball team this year, last year they finished 14-2, only finishing below Forest City in their conference, who finished 16-0. Forest City did leave the conference this year, and they are a 3A school compared to Garrigan's 1A. Garrigan finished last year with wins versus St. Ed's, Belmont Clemmy, Lake Mills. It lost 60-76 versus Newell Fonda. Wins versus Gardner, North Union, Algona, North Iowa, Forest City, Eagle Grove, West Hancock again, West Bend Mellard, Belmont Clemmy again, Newman Catholic, Lake Mills, Humboldt, Eagle Grove, Garner Hayfield, North Union, a loss 37-63 versus Forest City, West Hancock, and then wins versus West Hancock, North Iowa, and then wins in regionals versus GTRA, Harris Lake Park, and St. Ansgar to give them a state playoff appearance with a win in the first round versus Montezuma 69-31, and a loss in the second round 51-59 versus number 1 St. Albert. Overall, Garrigan girls basketball had a really good team last year, and I expect a lot of the same from this girls basketball team, especially with returning players like Emmy Bartolo, Gracelyn Eastman, and Seisha Alish. Only graduating one senior from the class last year, which was Zoe Montag, I do expect a lot of the same, like I said before, from this Garrigan girls basketball team. According to Bound, unless Bound hasn't updated it too, apparently Forest City did not leave the conference. I knew there were talks last year of it, but maybe they didn't. I am unsure of that. If anyone knows, you can comment it down below, or I'll put a note up here or something if I find out before this video goes up. Leader in points. Looking at some stats from last year, leader in points for this girls basketball team was sophomore at the time, Gracelyn Eastman, with 446. Following her was junior Seisha Alish with 346, and at the time junior Emmy Bartolo with 278. Leading the rebound stat is Gracelyn Eastman yet again with 283, followed by Madeline Tigges, a freshman with at the time a freshman with 108, and Carly Nielsen with 102. Looking over at steals, Seisha Alish and Gracelyn Eastman top this list with 84 each, followed by Bartolo with 71. Looking over at assists, Emmy Bartolo led the list with 127, followed by Seisha Alish with 84, Gracelyn Eastman with 57, and Carly Nielsen with 41. After them was Zoe Montag and Madeline Tigges. Overall, great stats last year from the Garrigan Golden Bears. For returning production, Gracelyn Eastman is in the top 5 in 1A for most points, and Emmy Bartolo leads 1A in returning production for most assists. A lot of great potential from this Garrigan Golden Bears team for this upcoming season, and I think they are going to be very, very entertaining to watch this year. Lots of scoring, lots of assists, lots of great movement of the ball, and great plays can be made from Garrigan. We've seen them do it before. We saw them do it a lot last year, and I think we'll be seeing a lot of the same, maybe even better with some built-in chemistry from some of those freshman players, from some of those sophomore players who were freshmen last year, like Madeline Tigges, and maybe you can see some of those sophomores getting more minutes, and some of those seniors taking some more leadership roles in this team. You obviously have your seniors that come off the bench like they did last year. You've got Ava Rothler, Alyssa Hogland. You've got great leadership from those players. You've also got players like Carly Nielsen who come in and make impacts when it matters. You've got your big post down below. You've got Gracelyn Eastman, who can always get you buckets. And then you've got your sharpshooters on the outside, like Seisha Alish and Emmy Bartolo, and they can just let it fly from 3 or even just from mid-range. Madeline Tigges was a very good player last year as well, coming in as a freshman, making a huge impact right away with mid-rangers, getting rebounds, really kind of just doing it all at the small forward position. That chemistry is only just going to build with this team, and I think we could see them go farther in the playoffs this year. We're going to take a look at last year's opening matchup from Garrigan and St. Ned's to see what we could maybe see in this first game. Garrigan won this matchup 78-20. It was a really dominantly won game from Garrigan on St. Ned's home court. Looking at the stat line side of things for Garrigan in this game, at the time, sophomore Gracelyn Eastman led the team in points with 30, went 11 for 16 from the field, and made all 8 of her free throws on the night. Emmy Bartolo dropped 14, going 6 for 9 from the field and 2 for 5 from 3. And then Madeline Tigges right after her with 10 points, going 4 for 6 from the field and making both her free throws. Leader in rebounds was Gracelyn Eastman with 10 rebounds, 1 block, and 5 steals on the day. Following her was Madeline Tigges with 8 rebounds, 1 block, and 1 steal, and Emmy Bartolo with 5 rebounds and 2 steals last year. Leader in assists for this game was Seisha Alish with 6 assists and 3 turnovers with a 2 assist to turnover ratio. Following her is Emmy Bartolo with 5 assists and 2 turnovers with a 2.5 ratio. And finally, rounding out the assist list is Gracelyn Eastman with 2 assists to 1 for a 2 assist to turnover ratio. For the St. Edmund Gales, they had Josie Harvey, who had 6 points, going 3 for 9 from the field. Anna Larson with 4 points, going 2 for 9 from the field. And Chloe Palmer with 4 points, going 1 from 9 for the field and making both her free throws. Leader in rebounds was Anna Larson with 8 rebounds, 4 steals, followed by Chloe Palmer with 4 rebounds and 1 steal, and Josie Harvey with 3 rebounds and 1 block. Leader in assists was Chloe Palmer with 2 assists and 3 turnovers for a .7 ratio. Maggie Flaherty is next on the list with 1 assist to 2 turnovers for a .5 ratio, and Anna Larson with a 1 assist to 5 turnovers for a .2 ratio. St. Ed's really struggled this game. They had a lot of turnovers and weren't able to get a lot of their shots to fall. Garrigan, on the other hand, had a lot of their shots fall, were able to get a lot of steals, and really just capitalize on those turnovers. I think that we'll be seeing a lot of the same from the St. Ed's team going into this year. I think this game is going to be very entertaining. First game of the year is always very interesting to see, as no one has played a game yet. It is always just really, really fun to watch. Fun to see all the juniors that came back as seniors, all the returning players, and see how teams work without some of those seniors that they lost last year. Overall, looking to this game, I do think that your Garrigan Golden Bears are going to win. I think that offense is going to be pretty unstoppable, and I think from 3, Garrigan is going to be a huge threat. I think that they'll be able to get rebounds down below, and they'll be able to force a lot of turnovers with their defense. I think that St. Ed's will struggle, kind of similar to how they did last year, maybe not as much as they lost by 58 last year. I think they'll be able to at least close the gap a little bit on it, but Garrigan will still come out with the win. Without further ado, my final score prediction for this game is going to be Bishop Garrigan 80, St. Ed's 48. I think Garrigan's offense is really going to put up a lot of numbers in this game, and even if the JV girls get put in, or some of the girls that sit varsity, I think that they'll still be able to put up some points and able to get some shots to fall. I think that Garrigan will win this game in a dominant fashion and really set a tone for the season. I think they're going to prove that they are a really good team, that they are a top 2 team, as they're starting at the number 2 position in the IGHSAU polls to start the year, only below St. Albert's, who they lost to last year. I really do think that Garrigan is going to win this game, and I do think that they're going to be a very dominant threat this year in the conference and overall in Class 1A. I think that they're going to be a very good team, and we are going to look at their schedule. We're maybe going to see what their record will be for this year. Overall, Garrigan has games versus St. Ed's, Belmont Clemmy, Lake Mills, Eagle Grove, Coon Rapids, Bayard, Garner, North Union, Algona, North Iowa, Forest City, West Hancock, West Bend, Mallard, Belmont Clemmy, Newman Catholic, Lake Mills, Eagle Grove, Garner, Hayfield, North Union, Forest City, West Hancock, and North Iowa. That is all of their games for this year. So instead of going through and predicting each one of them with a score, as we'll do that week to week, I'm going to predict which ones Garrigan will be losing, because I do think that they will win majority of their games this year. I think they'll finish with a really solid record like they did last year. Overall, one opponent that I'm not seeing on this list is Newell Fonda. Newell Fonda and Garrigan do butt heads a lot. That is a really big rivalry, as they beat us back in 2020 and 2021 for the state title. It came down to Garrigan and Newell Fonda in the championship game. Finally, in 2023, Newell Fonda lost to MMCRU, and Garrigan went on to beat them in the championship. And in 2023, Garrigan got their revenge on Newell Fonda, winning the championship over them. Overall, I think Garrigan's going to have, like I said earlier, a really good winning record. I think they're going to win games versus teams like St. Ed's and Belmont, Lake Mills usually has a good basketball team, but I do think Garrigan will be able to pull out with the win. Eagle Grove, Coon Rapids, Bayard, I do not know a lot about, but I do think that they will be able to get wins over them. Garner as well. North Union will be tough, as that is a rivalry game, but I do think Garrigan's team will really just outweigh North Union's. Algona will be a very tough one. Algona has a very good basketball team, and so I can see Garrigan dropping a game there. North Iowa is another one that I think Garrigan will do very well against, and Forest City is one that I do think they will potentially drop a game to. Forest City overall is a really good team. Garrigan dropped a game to Forest City last year, and I do expect Forest City to be very, very good again this year. Very well-coached team, very well-rounded team, very good scoring team, and great on defense. West Hancock, West Bend Mallard are also other teams that I do think that Garrigan will be able to get wins against. A lot of these teams I may be repeating as Garrigan plays them multiple times in one season. Garrigan plays Forest City twice this year, and I think they're going to go 1-1 in that series. They will get the win at home, but they will lose on the road to Forest City. Overall, I have your Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears going 19-2 on the year for their 21-game streak. I think games versus Algona and that one game versus Forest City, I think they will drop. But otherwise, Garrigan will win most of these games in dominant fashion, or at least by a good chunk of points. I think this Garrigan team is set to go out there and they want to win this really badly after what happened last year at the Well. I think that they are wanting this really bad, kind of like the seniors in football. I think these seniors want this really bad as their last season. They want to get one more championship ring to finish their career out with for the rest of high school. Without further ado, that is the end of this edition of BG Game Preview State Championship and Girls Basketball Edition. A little crossover between the two sports there. I've done videos obviously where it was football and volleyball, but I didn't think I'd be doing one where I'd be talking about both football and basketball. I'm really excited to cover basketball this season. Again, I'd like to thank you for all the support during football. Without further ado, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below your predictions for this girls basketball game, any thoughts you have to wrap up football season, and anything you want to see me cover in the future. Make sure to go follow me on Instagram at BG Game Preview to never miss an episode of 3 and 30 and to never miss an upload. Without further ado, this is Lucy Eisenbarth signing off on BG Game Preview.